Today, I am going to attempt to drive through Mangal Bazaar with an EV. This is something that I absolutely do not do anymore, but I thought it would be interesting to document and show it. Oh shit. No, one way to go. Finally. दुईटा गाडी आया तो फिर यहाँ से. And this is the way. I'm confident about that. It's so confusing when you're in one way and there's two-way traffic involvement. I usually absolutely avoid using Mangal Bazaar because of traffic. It's so chaotic in here, and no one here is an EV at all, like absolutely at all. And so, oh crap, this road is gone. I will have to go this way. Well, there goes my vlog idea. Not happening, it seems. Apparently, Mangal Bazaar is closed. I did not know that. And so, I am now going to have to take the main road again. Well, I'm kinda glad that I don't have to drive through Mangal Bazaar. It is definitely a challenge, and it is a challenge that I do not. Oh, this explains why there were so many cars that were returning, even though this is one way. If someone had just put in a road blockage sign here instead of down there, I don't think anyone would have come. This is really frustrating about Nepal. Traffic diversion ba? I don't get this at all. This is absolutely annoying. How signs aren't kept appropriately. Like, what would it have hurt if someone had just put the sign a bit earlier on the road? Like, I wouldn't have to go all the way in. Anyway. So here's something I also think about quite a lot, and that is parking. I absolutely do not understand why people do not think about parking. Like, I'm sure buildings have to have, like, I don't even know if there's a law in the first place to have like a minimum mandated amount of spaces per square feet for a commercial building, or even a private building at this rate, because a lot of people own not just one vehicle anymore, but multiple vehicles. Like, I'm talking about multiple bikes, multiple cars. And so it's quite interesting to me how there are a lot of commercial buildings that have absolutely zero parking underground. And I'm talking about big commercial buildings with like banks in them. And in a bank, what's, I guess, common sense is that you can expect people to be coming in and going. And so banks that don't even have like parking spaces for about 20-30 vehicles. I just don't understand what that concept is. Like, is there no foreshadowing for like thinking ahead of time? Kathmandu has seen a population growth, a volume increase in traffic of both two-wheelers and four-wheelers, and so commercial buildings that pop up, do they just not think about parking? This also goes to like those in charge of city urban planning, like with the amount of vehicles that roll out of showrooms and reconditioned houses. I'm talking about both two and four-wheelers. Shouldn't parking and public infrastructure also be taken into account? And by public infrastructure, I don't mean just parking spots, but I mean like pavements, roads, overhead bridges. Overhead bridges, because for the longest time, this road, Ring Road, and the highway that would connect from Koteshwar onwards to Bhaktapur did not have overhead bridges. And that to me is just a big irony and also stupid, in the sense it's a multiple lane road, and multiple lane roads usually have higher speed traffic in them, and there aren't any infrastructures for, I don't know, it's playing again. There aren't any infrastructures for people crossing the road. Like, did the planners just expect people to fly over, or like, I don't know. What was the thinking? Like, how could they not take into account how people would be crossing these big multiple lane roads without some sort of overhead or underground infrastructure built in place to mitigate that? Do you understand what I mean? Like, people have to cross from somewhere on these multiple lane roads, and so it was very funny to me, honestly, that people just started crossing everywhere, and then suddenly there were also a lot of reported deaths, in the sense that people got hit by these high-speed vehicles. And this is a time before this 50 km per hour speed limit was not enforced. And so I just don't understand what... Ooh, this is a purple pink dolphin. I don't know if you saw that. Like, what was the thought process in like just saying, oh, we'll make a 6-lane road without any infrastructure for people to cross? They're naturally just gonna cross anywhere now that there isn't a proper place for pedestrians to cross. And so, yeah, a lot of deaths were reported. And then finally, after the highways, these multiple lane roads opened up, 2-3 years later, a budget came out, or I don't know the politics behind it. But timeline wise, after these roads opened up, then finally these overhead bridges started in construction. And I'm just here thinking, why did they not happen at the same time? Like, isn't there someone's job in these construction projects to be like, this is how traffic flow happens, this is how people will cross the street, these are the required projects, infrastructures in place needed to overcome these challenges we'll face. And yet here we saw Ring Road opened up, the first phase of Ring Road, and a good year or so later you finally have like overhead bridges around the Saddabato Gorko sections, instead of the other way around, honestly.